Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthew. Hi, my name is Irawan. I'm from Indonesia. And like Matthew said, I would like to say about reclamation in Auckland, but I want to add another point which is sustainable here, and which is coming to my research question. How can an infrastructure on a reclamation area become sustainable and give extra value for the environment around it? Let's start with what's the problem? So as we know, due to increasing population, meanwhile the earth is only contained with land and sea, and we cannot live underwater, but we can expand our land above the sea, like the one that Dubai did. They expand the housing area, and the Holland did, and you must be know this one. Your city, Auckland, they're expanding, and then they open like public activity. And I know that you have like bank on office around there and port. So this is one of the benefits of doing the reclamation. And I didn't close my eyes then. I know that there will be a problem with reclamation, which this is for the example, this is the habitat of coral, and because the main resource of the reclamation is sand, so this is the result. They're pulling the sand, and then this is what happened after they pull up the sand. And it's not just the ecosystem, but also the abrasion. This is what happened, for example, if the sand is pulled out, and they put it in another place, and yeah, I know that's scary. But how will I address this issue? Like usual, I'm going to do like literature, case study, and site. As an architect, I want to make like more synchronized between three components between the case study, literature, and site. So so the result, I hope it can be more feasible. So I'll start with the case study and theory. I pick up 3 case studies. One in Jeddah, which they are trying to focus to open another space so they can have like a new public space here. So people in the city, they have a new public space at the beachfront. And then the second one, Indonesia. So in Indonesia, there's 2 interesting ways. First, the modern and the traditional. And of course, the master of reclamation, Holland. Let's start with Jeddah. So, like I said before, they try to make a connection with this road, and then this waterfront become more public space for them, and then they're using the common reclamation technique. So they just put the sand over here, and they hold it with the rocks here. And the second one.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Has the thing hit the clip on? The speaker? Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
Okay.
Just well disguised.
It's not
working because it's hard to hear.
I don't know.
Well, the problem is if you turn it up too loud, it feeds back to you.
So just talk a bit louder, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the second, no, I forgot. Wait. Okay. The second one is Indonesia. They have the modern and the traditional project. This is the modern project. So yes, Indonesia will gonna have another reclamation project after almost 30 years. They're gonna make like a big Garuda, which is the symbol of my country. And one island already finished, and this is the condition. And the same technique, they just fill up with sand and cover it with rocks. And the problem is, it's not about the ecosystem, but the problem is the fishermen. Why? This is the fisherman village, which is made around here. And this is the new reclamation. So they have to go a little bit further to catch the fish. So for example, the fishermen live here, they have to cross here, which is quite far. So you can imagine if the reclamation is finished and then you live here and then you have to catch the fish, so you have to pass to the old Garuda. And the traditional way, this is interesting because this is not not a hard technology. They just like using the existing material like the tree, and then they put it like a column, and it really works. I mean, they can have like a religion building here. The kids can go to school and they can still live together with the nature. And this is the result. If you know, maybe you don't believe it, but this is the new area. And this is the existing one. And it's not many problem here because the reclamation is really answering what the people needs in that area. The next one is Netherlands. What I'm learning from here is their technique. So because the land is like below the sea level, they will try to make a border and they're pulling out the water. Or maybe they just wait until the water drawn by itself. And they use it for, like, for example, agriculture and connection road. The next part is, I want to talk direct about the site because I'm still, at the same time, I'm looking for the potential of the site and then what do I have to do because I just learned from the previous object because if I do reclamation, which is not related with the site, it's going to be another problem. And this is my site. This is the west motorway. This is the east. This is the Westfield train station. And this is Onehunga train station. And I know that, oh, wait, before I go further, this is the site picture. This is the condition. So there's a path and cycle track, and this is the sea. I mean, most of them is just mud and mangrove over here, and this is the view from Westfield. And trust me, I didn't do that. This is already there. And so I heard information that New Zealand Transport Agency trying to make a connection between this road and this road, which is they have to do like a little reclamation around here, and they try to make a new road and improve the existing road around here, which is, I know that there's two disadvantages of this project. First, it's going to be a higher project, a higher cost, and this one, potential impacts on the coastal edge, and that's what I want to solve. And it's driving me to a new question. I mean, from the main question, how can infrastructure on a reclamation area become sustainable and give extra value for the environment around it? What is the potential of the reclamation, and how can it be more environmental friendly? So from the current possible outcomes, I just learned that even in Jeddah, they try to make a public space so people in the cities not get bored, and then they can access the sea. So even they make a connection road, they can still have a connection between the people on the land and people and the sea, with the nature. And from the communication between the people and the sea, it could be like in the Netherlands, so they can make like open agriculture, or maybe like education. So in the existing site, there's a lot of mangrove, so maybe it can be approached by the student or maybe like kids to get touch with the mangrove, or maybe like public space. And I don't want to forget about the habitat under the water, and not forget about the enjoyment of the reclamation that it can be happen. So, am I too fast? No? Okay, so I already make some a speculation about what is going to be in the future, which is going to be like the end of this project. So this is the West Highway, West Motorway, and maybe we can just pretend that this is the site. And from the study that I learned, maybe we can keep the mangrove here, and we can make the new road a little bit higher, so they can make a new connection. They can still have a connection between the land and the water. And for the structure, maybe we can use for an access for people there, and for the sea, because they might a retaining wall, so the water is going to be a little bit cleaner, and then maybe you can have another activity on the water. So in a bigger scale, this is the interesting part. You can make an artificial island like that. maybe made from mangrove or something. So back to my question, how can infrastructure on a reclamation area become sustainable and give extra value for the environment around it? If it's possible, do you want it? Thank you.
So it's a Masters in Architecture project.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're working with Cesar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so, what do you think you're going to design? Is it going to be a kind of a is this new motorway being built? Is it kind of you're going to make suggestions about this motorway to make
Oh
it
yeah.
more
First, I suggest the
sustainable, or are you going to build
Oh yeah.
something?
First, I suggest about the location of the motorway because I haven't get any clue where's the motorway. And then, what I'm afraid is maybe something that you guys afraid. I'm afraid that the motorway is gonna be located on the top of the mangrove or maybe somewhere that's gonna damage the habitat. And what I'm gonna first is the suggestion, and then second one maybe I just open another. If there's a connection and there might be a new space. What is gonna be look like? Even if I'm architect, if I don't need to buy a hotel, so I don't have to design the hotel. So there must be something that can improve the activity around there.
Of course, he's not the first one to suggest this. Someone actually suggested for the Rugby World Cup venue. Actually, we had all the visualizations of a floating Rugby World Cup in the middle of that harbour,
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
which didn't eventuate, as we all know.
But this roadway is going to happen, isn't it?
Yes, but I don't actually know where it's going to go, and
It's on the foreshore.
and
That's what the design is, isn't it?
yeah. So it's not. I mean, I think it's funded, but I haven't looked at the path about where it's going. Yeah.
There is a walkway around that.
Yes, there is.
Walkway at the
Big
moment, yeah.
walkway.
Yes.
Because.
That's all going. I understand it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering though whether Kat has something.
So, yeah, I'm a bit confused about what it is you're going to be
Yeah.
reclaiming.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess, can you just summarise in a sentence what you're doing?
For
Or two?
for what? For the reclamation or for the
Yeah,
or reclamation? You mean for
just
the water?
summarise your research topic in a couple of sentences.
Make a new sustainable land.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's your site,
Yes.
and that's already happening.
It's not yet. It's still like in processing. They're still choosing which one is better.
Okay.
I think it might have chosen.
Oh, really?
So how are you intending on contributing to that then? Were you thinking that you're going to propose something?
Yeah, I
but if
heard
it's
that.
already happening.
No. I heard that they're still offering us some suggestion. So maybe a little bit help from you guys. I can like suggest like the better way, something like that.
The only thing that I put down was consultation, because, you know, if you mentioned about wanting people to, you mentioned give extra value, and so tell me how, as a Māori with a vested interest in that particular area,
Okay.
how you're going to give value to me.
Oh, okay. So a few days ago, I went to the site and then I went around it. So I saw that there's a housing here and a lot of people use the water to like canoeing or sport, and then they can use this water, actually this area, to do that sport. And then the second one, this is factory. Most of them are factory. So if I open like a new public space, they can like relaxing here for a while. And then the third one, I just realized that this is.
I don't want to relax near a motorway.
Oh no, I mean if I make the connection, if I make the new public space, so you can just like walking around here maybe, so you can still keep touch with the feeling of the water.
Yeah, no, I don't really. That doesn't interest me so much. So I'm being mean, actually.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to get at is, you know, it's important that you talk to the people who are
Okay.
concerned with that area before
Right.
kind of imposing your idea about how you're going to give them extra value in your
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Isn't there already am I in the right place, a new, haven't they just spent a lot of money on a new,
Bridge, yes, they did.
and a park?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes, but
further
that's
up.
yes.
Yeah.
About where it says Westgate,
And
yeah.
they're reinstating the beach too, at
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
have.
But then at the same time, that this new list of proposals are going to fill in the harbour here,
Mm.
and they're for a new 4-lane motorway.
So this is a proposal that didn't come from Auckland Council, it was a government imposed
Right.
one.
What they want to do is they want to. The problem is that two industrial, as I understand, two industrial areas.
Yeah.
Only hanging in East Tamaki.
Yeah.
And they want to connect. There's tracks all day long. There's
Yeah.
terrible commutes, and they want to connect them up, make a better infrastructure connection.
Right.
Where do you put the road?
Yeah.
Put
See,
in-
I thought
put
it
in
should
the
be
sea.
rail.
Yeah.
I thought it should be a rail.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So I think so
Yeah.
everyone's sort of going, well, like it's reclamation triggers.
Yeah.
Even though I'm telling you we have reclamation,
Yeah.
we're doing it. And so can you do it in some way? Can you investigate some way? And maybe this methodology or this idea he's going to find he could then take back to Jakarta and maybe could inform.
A consortium that can come and do it. See, I actually
No.
I thought Kat was going to say absolutely not. The really important iwi values in this area,
Yeah. I
and
thought it would be nice.
and there's
Because they'll
and
probably
there's,
stumble across that anyway.
and that there was no way any of the iwi would ever agree to that. Because it's it's an important area, it's a historical area for iwi there, although there are two main tribes that converge sort of on that area. But she didn't say that. But I would think that those are the big issues, that anything to do with the sea and the interaction between the land and the sea has huge impact on the Maori traditions in that area.
I know.
And to me, it would be that was a big, difficult point to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I'm on your side. So.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
on
the
your
challenge will be getting them on your side.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's an interesting notion.
Yeah.
Reclamation, we're against it. Once it was wonderful, and a bit like mangroves, and I still don't know with mangroves whether they're a curse or a virtue.
Well, they're
They're a good
both.
thing.
They're both.
Well, but I hear both arguments
Marine
all the
gauze.
time.
Marine gauze.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're bad when there's too many of them, and there's too many because we create the sedimentation.
Yeah,
So,
all of that. So that's the first thing that I think in a short time these values have changed.
Yeah.
So in a way you have to document that, because you can't sort of say, oh yes, I'm on this side or that side. Exactly. And I think
so that really helps
The review, yeah.
The review helps the position his argument, so we can't well, critics and the following panels can't just stand up and say, oh no, we don't do reclamation, because he's gone, well actually,
It's
Yeah.
went elsewhere.
So-
you did it in the past,
Yeah.
you're still doing it, and it's being done overseas, and you know what, so I was talking, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I was talking to my colleague at Auckland University, and she was saying, reclamation in the harbour is so great, but actually reclamation in the ocean, like Dubai, is actually okay, so.
yes, I think you should have a bit more of the arguments about those, because there'll be material for and against,
Yeah.
and you're going to be for and against all the time with everything you do here. But and it seems to me that the virtue would be that you do a design and then do the for and againsts, and another design and for and against, so that you offer a whole lot of propositions
Yeah.
as designs, saying if you're going to put this thing through, how could it be possibly done, and how could it be done constructively and sustainably, and it would be a very interesting proposition if you came out against intuition on the thing, because we all tend to reclamation stop. But if you said, here's reclamation, which is what you're doing, here's reclamation that could be good.
Yeah, and in a sense, the new park which everyone's praising and saying how fantastic, that's mega reclamation.
But it also costs mega money, and just from my perspective, that they are mudflats, and so you made me think. Well, if they're mudflats, irrespective of the iwi values of those, you know, would that be a good place? At the moment, it's, you know, it's not doing much, although obviously there's various natural life there, you know. But they are mudflats, you know, with sea coming in. So would you? You know, would that be a good area for reclamation? But it's not a high end area. So if you're going to be spending a lot of money, you actually want to do it in a high end area to get the best bang for your buck. I would have thought this isn't a major, you know, this isn't like Tamaki Drive where you know.
Yeah. But I think what he's saying. But I mean, NZTA is being worth $2 billion or something doing this thing.
Yeah.
And so you know, you can use that to leverage
other things
off it.
Yeah.
And because they'll have to do an environmental audit, they'll
Yeah.
have to do iwi audit, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so out of that, out of the infrastructure costs come
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still not quite sure. I mean, I'm really happy with it, but I'm still not quite sure how it becomes architectural.
Or sustainable.
Well, it becomes design. I think without design, it's all just sort of, it can be shot down in all sorts of areas. But with the design, you can have design alternatives, and you could even have design of the whole thing being filled in and becoming a suburb, etc., etc. And I think that's what you have to be doing, showing through design things that can go on. But it does require that you research quite heavily, really, the precedents and the issues involved in it.
And you think your idea is just to do a whole series of tests, design tests?
Yeah.
So it could be Dubai, ecological, you know, just a whole series of kind of
Or there could be
scenarios.
one, it could be a motorway that went right through the middle of this in a big curve and just sat on tiny poles in that space and left the whole thing intact. I can sort of think out of my head about 6 different ways of designing this architecturally, and then it would be the issue of, but so what does it mean? Is it sustainable?
How do you measure it?
Yeah, and measure it as much as you can with designs. That's my view.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's interesting, and it's interesting to be counterintuitive in this way. Yeah.
And also, if even if it is reclaimed as part of the putting that motorway through, you know, it is a pretty industrial area, you know, with and is that where you want to walk? They've actually made it quite nice in Onehunga because it is a natural beach. They've put the natural beach in. Well, that's not going to occur in this area because there's no natural beaches like that. So it's worked in Onehunga, between Onehunga and Hillsborough essentially, because it's actually got different land values there, and there's also a lot of that's where there's a lot of old villas, and so there's a lot of, you know, residential around this area, where this is just sort of relatively bleak factory areas, so that the landscape isn't quite as attractive to be wanting to cycle through. And also I think that I'm not sure where the cycleways are going, whether or not, if they were going to put cycleways, whether this would be one of the ways.
I think it's the idea is kind of a loop.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, Otahu and then Favona and
Right.
maybe it's something you could help Irawan with, because Irawan's idea was, well, it's this motorway and it's all these factories, but maybe the factories one day become kind of housing. But I was trying to say, Auckland Council are very keen to keep factories.
Yeah, they are, and I have a feeling in the unitary plan there's a lot of mixed use, which means some of it might become houses, but it's still seen as an important belt of industry where people get jobs, and that's likely to happen for the next 30 years, I would imagine.
Can you just help explain why that's important?
So that obviously there are people that work in business in terms of light industry or heavy industry or medium sort of industry, and they don't want to have to travel miles to do it. So obviously in South Auckland there's a big industrial areas where people go and work in the factories. And in the light industry, there's often computer type places there and etc. But this area here around that sort of South Down Penrose, Onehunga, Oranga area is where the industry was before it went down to down south. So it's the old edge of the city, if you like, there. And so while it will change, and I think it will become mixed use, the council has been wanting to retain that for the jobs, because again a lot of goods go through the port. That's relatively close to the port. It's central to the rail corridor, so it can go by road or by motorway. That motorway goes right down to the port. The cargo on the trains goes really near the port as well. So it's just a lot more if the industry keeps going out. It's a longer way for goods to be carried, etc.
So, yeah, basically
Yeah.
we just want to keep the industry there.
Okay, that's going to be one of my. Okay, nothing.
One of the rules could be that if any reclamation's always got this taint because it's a way of grabbing land by people, capitalists and all sorts of people, and so that's one of the problems with it. And so it would have to be the government that, you'd have to be proposing there was social benefit.
Is the NZTA going to do it?
Yeah, but they won't have permission to do the reclamation as such. I mean, we saw what happened in the ports of Auckland when the ports tried to do some reclamation. Some fancy architects got together and stopped all that happening, and for various reasons. But it's that's the milieu in which this sits.
Okay.
Hot topic, but interesting.
Foreshore and seabed.
You just really need to do your reading. You need to do work. Yeah.
Okay.
Foreshore, seabed, iwi consultation.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Good.